Hey, what's going on, guys? This is my first video in a new series of videos coming out. Today I'm going to be ranking the Persona Awakenings for the main cast of Persona 5 Royal. I'm going to preface this by saying I don't think any of them are bad, I just think that some are better than others, and I'm going to be ranking them based on where they're at thematically, how good the storytelling based around them are, how good the lines were delivered, and, just how good of a persona match to character they are, just stuff like that. I'm definitely looking forward to ranking all these characters, and I think you'll be surprised at who has got the #1 spot. So, first off at number 10 is Morgana. I feel like plot kind of kneecapped Morgana's awakening just because he had to, for sake of plot and tutorial, had to already have his persona awakened. I think that he has a cool persona, and I think it fits him well. I just believe that it could have been better. I mean, if you look at Teddy's persona in Persona 4, that was a awakening that had like emotion behind it, and it fit in a bit better thematically. But I understand the reasoning for this. Like I said, I don't think it's necessarily bad. I just feel like compared to all the other ones where there's an actual awakening and there's more meaning and emotion behind it, I feel like this is definitely the weakest one out of the 10 main cast members. So, coming in next at number 9 is Haru. I think that Haru had a lighter version of what happened with Morgana. We already knew what her Phantom Thief outfit looked like, and we knew what was going to happen. Her awakening was good. It wasn't great. She had the conflict with her father, and I think that gave it more of an emotional impact than Morgana, obviously. But I think that we already knew what was going to happen, and it made the impact hit a little less hard. Like I said, I don't think that this is a bad awakening. I just think compared to the others, there's a little bit left to be desired. Though I will say that her persona looks badass. So from this point, I think that all the Persona Awakenings are really good. It just goes to show that Persona 5 is a really well-made, polished game. I'm not really going to be talking about many flaws from here on out, just because most of the Persona Awakenings are just really good, and it's a matter of opinion and how cool they look and the emotional impact behind them that's really going to make it vary between which is better and which is worse from this point out. So coming up at number 8 is Ryuji. I think Ryuji had a great awakening. I think that Kamoshida was a major part of that. Him being a great villain definitely helped everything. I think it really set the tone for what awakening to a persona is. It kind of explained that it is literally your rebellious spirit coming to fruition. Ryuji dealt with all this abuse from Kamoshida, and then having him lay all the blame for what happened on him and not taking any of it on himself is kind of what pushed him over the edge to finally fight back, especially now that he had Joker and Morgana in his corner. I think the Captain Kid is a great persona to go hand in hand with Ryuji, and I think all in all that this was a great place to kind of start off new people. If they haven't played Persona and didn't know what they were, I think that this was a good way to show them what's to come. And the fact that this is number 8 shows that Persona 5 definitely had a lot going for it the further on you got in. Coming in next at number 7 is Makoto. I think that she had a very interesting persona awakening. She had a unique persona in the first place, so it definitely stood out in its own right. I think that her lead up had a lot more to do with the story itself rather than the antagonist, unlike other characters. Just with her having all this self-doubt whenever she's confronting Principal Kabayakawa and her sister, and finding herself in this moral dilemma whenever she's going against the Phantom Thieves. And I think that Kaneshiro gave her that extra push to awaken her rebellious spirit and awaken her persona. And another thing that made this awakening so good was the fact that it led to one of the best lines in the entire game, in my opinion.
A persona?
No, dude. That's a bike!
So coming up next at number 6 is On, and the off chance that Seniorish watched this video, I might get a little bit of flack for this. But I think On is a great, just overall a great character. I think she has a great persona awakening, and I think that she's one of the many reasons that the first arc in Persona 5 was as good as it is. She had a relatable situation, and Kamoshida was a relatable villain, and her conflict that led to her awakening her persona was just really well written and more, I guess, believable than some of the others down the line. I think she has a great awakening. Her persona matches her very well. And yeah, I think she's overall a very strong character. And the reason, like I said, she's in number 6 out of 10. But that just goes to show, how many good characters and persona awakenings there are in this game. Coming up next at number 5 is Futaba. I think Futaba is one of the strongest characters in Persona 5, and I think her awakening is very well done. It comes in the midst of a powerful arc that covers a lot of issues that other people can relate to. Self-blame for a tragedy that, you didn't cause, but you could definitely blame yourself because it's one of the first things that you can kind of just register in your head. And her growing and coming to terms with that and then awakening her persona to fight against her mother was, a powerful arc, and I think that overall it, definitely made the awakening even better. And while a lot of jokes could be made about the awakening itself, I think the arc is definitely one of the high points of Persona 5 and makes Futaba one of my favorite characters in the game. So this is where things get interesting. Coming up at number 4 is Sumire. I like this Persona Awakening a lot, mainly due to the heavy conflict surrounding it. She wasn't even done with her own self-conflict at this point, and it added another layer that awakening a persona is not enough to, prevail in this situation. It shows that all the other members of the Phantom Thieves didn't just succeed because they awakened their persona. Sumire awakens her persona, still isn't comfortable in her own skin, is still pushed down by the expectations of others. She still lives a rough life after that, and it isn't until she comes to terms with what happens after that conflict with Maruki, where he completely takes advantage of her indecisiveness, that she really starts to grow and, awakens that true rebellious spirit that allows her to, fight with the Phantom Thieves and come to terms with who she really is. And I think that sets this awakening aside from others, mainly due to the fact that it played out a lot differently than everyone else's, and it had, a lot of depth and weight to it. Plus, it looked really cool, so that was also a plus. So, coming up next at number 3 is Yusuke. I think that he, ironically enough, had the most aesthetically pleasing persona. I think him finally gaining the courage and understanding to go against the man he revered and considered a father, definitely put a lot of weight behind his awakening. He gave that very strong speech, and props to Yusuke's voice actor, because damn, that shit was very well delivered. And I think that it was really well done. I think it looked cool. Really cool. And I think that, story-wise, it had a lot of impact in the moment. I do personally believe that Yusuke's story arc, compared to all the other story arcs, may be on the weaker half, but I think his Persona Awakening by itself was definitely in the top 3, and he definitely earns his spot here. Hoo boy, okay, number 2 is Joker. Now, I'm sure that you probably have a few ideas of who's number 1, but yeah, no, I think Joker has a great awakening. I think Arsene is the coolest looking persona in the entire series, and I think that, style-wise, it fits Persona 5 perfectly. They are the what represents this whole game, and they do so flawlessly. And I think that Persona 5 stylistically is the best out of the entire series as well. Story and stuff like that can be up for debate, but I feel like it is completely uncontested when it comes to style. Persona 5 just has a great look to it, and Joker and Arsene exemplify that. The awakening sets the tone for the entire story. This villain that has really just riled you up and got you trapped in a corner just completely has the tables turned on them by this extremely just well-designed demon that just pops out of Joker. And, it really gets you excited for the hours to come in Persona, and I think it's probably one of the best hooks in Persona, and it in my personal opinion, from me playing the Persona games, I think it gives the strongest start out of any game in the series. And number 1 is your favorite psychotic detective, Akechi. Now this one's under some contention. If you consider him awakening to Loki his Persona awakening, then yes, this is number 1 in my opinion. I consider it to be one. I kind of wiggled it in there, mainly due to the fact that it's the first time we see Akechi really awaken to a persona. It's an unfair advantage because the story just makes this scene so damn good. And him awakening to Loki, of all personas, is just wonderful. His design is cool. The entire speech and fight is really, really good. And I think that, his character is just really well made, and the conflict that he has and him just completely going psychotic towards the end, I think it's just a really, really well done scene. The design is great. The voice acting and story to lead to that point is great. It's overall the most exciting awakening for me. It's all a matter of opinion. I just think that this one, if it's considered an awakening, is the best. Even if it does have an unfair advantage, it got me the most hype out of any of them in the game so far. And it just was a great scene. It was unparalleled in my opinion. And the fight was awesome, and everything about it was just really, really cool. So yeah, that's my number 1 pick. So that is all for this video. It's my first real video, since revamping the channel. It's probably going to be the weakest video that I've ever made. I'm definitely rusty and trying to, manage the little bit of time I have currently because my college courses are starting and there's a lot of stuff going on. I'm really busy and, I don't even have the house to myself right now, so I gotta squeeze this in whenever I have the time. But, it's a step in the right direction, and I'm hoping that it just gets much better from here. I hope you liked it. I had a lot of fun making it. I'm curious to see what people think about it, and if you enjoyed it, then there will be more of this kind of content to come, and we will see where it goes from here. So yeah, I do have a really, really big video planned. It's going to be really deep diving into Persona 5. I'll probably make some videos before that though, because that one's a big project. I plan on working on that one for over a month or 2. That'll be a big one. I want to really make that a well-made, high-quality video. So when that comes out, just know that's the best I can do right now. But for now, I'm just going to be making smaller videos like this one, and I'll be working on that one piece by piece as time goes on, because I want to make sure that has the best quality that I can put into it. So yeah, hope you enjoyed the video, and if you'd like more, then just subscribe and stay around for a while. And I hope you all have a great day. Thank you for watching.